Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E, the Dividend Passport Bro, back with another video. Guys, I am thinking about changing the name of the channel to Dividend Passport. I'm going to remove the bro. But for now, it's a Dividend Passport Bro. Okay? So, guys, as always, thanks to our subscribers. Thank you guys for watching the content. That's key. For liking the content, for sharing the content, and for encouraging others to invest. This is the number one thing on this channel, right? Is to always try to encourage other people to invest in their financial future. Okay? Now, for those of you guys who just had a one-on-one with me and haven't yet put money in your account, you're missing out. Okay, because we had 2 days, one last week and one today, right? That you guys could have put money into the market and get things at a low discount. But you guys haven't done so, so that's your own business. But I'm not going to chase after you like little kids to put money into your portfolio. Okay, I do it once or twice, and that's it. After that, I'm like, you know what? You grow. Okay, you spend your money to have a conversation with me, and then after that, if you're not serious to put $100 in your account after you spend $50 just to talk to me, I don't know what else to say to you. Okay, guys. So with that said, guys, remember, okay, I'm not a financial advisor, so if you think I'm a financial advisor, you're screwed. Also, remember, I'm 52 years old and I only make videos of my portfolio and my portfolio alone. My goal here, like I said, is to encourage people to invest in their future. So you do as you please because the risk is yours. Okay, guys? So with that said, let's get down to business because as you can see, S&P 500 today look kind of red, right? Other than Tesla, Google, Nvidia, AMD, Amazon, Waste Management, pretty much everything else is kind of red. Okay? I mean, we got a little green here and there, but today pretty much was a red day. Okay, guys? But you guys will see that later. Even though it's a red day, right? Our portfolio usually do decent. Since I made the changes to the portfolio, guys, even though it's a red day, we're down, but we're not down bad. And at the end of the day, we still end up making some money in the portfolio, which is amazing, guys. Which is amazing, right? I know, I'm not making that big old $5,000, $6,000 a week no more. But these $2,000, $3,000 a week are coming in right now without the erosion. It's so much more relaxing. Even on a red day, I can say, you know what, my portfolio is down, but it's not down bad. It's not down to where it's painful. Okay? Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan Chase, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Broadcom, Visa, MasterCard, McDonald's, right? McDonald's, is that McDonald's, J&J, United Health, Merck, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, Netflix, Pepsi. Oh, there's so many of them, right? Home Depot, all of them guys in the red. IBM now, oof, Lord have mercy. A lot of red, okay? But like I said, if you spend money today buying stuff when it's down, this is the best time to buy. Now, we don't know how far it's going to go back down. It could go down further tomorrow, but at least you will be in the game, okay? And you have your limits, okay? You got your limits on what your stop loss is, all the stuff you got to limit. But we are dividend investors. We're not day traders. So we don't worry about too much for me, I don't worry about too much of a stop loss, right? I'm buying whole investor. I'm just worried about erosion. That's it. I don't care about stop loss and all that other stuff. It's erosion my thing. Okay? Now, you can see Bitcoin is down the last 7 days, 6.80% to $106,000. Ethereum is also down 13.13%, $3,594. Okay? XRP is also down in the last 7 days, 12.97%. So if we look at all this stuff, a lot of these things in the last 7 days, they're down crazy bad. Okay, so if you're going to put some money in crypto, hey, this is the best time to put some money into crypto, especially if it's down. Okay, these things are setting new highs, new lows every week. Okay, so you decide where you're going to go. and then do it. Okay, look at Solana from down 10%, $91 billion in market cap, $9 billion in the last 24 hours. XRP, $137 billion, $5 billion in the last 24 hours in the volume. That could go either way, people selling and buying. Okay, so you do what you gotta do, guys. Okay, I think I've done enough for the day to kind of encourage you to buy crypto. But look at my portfolio, guys. Even though the market is red, right? And that's the whole the Dow. I don't know what the Dow is doing. I don't know what the Nasdaq is doing. We just look at S&P. Okay, but look at my little portfolio here. Now, this portfolio, the value of this portfolio is a little bit over $20,000 right now. Okay, let me see if this thing gonna work. There we go. So the value of my portfolio right now is a little bit over 20 grand. Okay, and I'm using 10,000 in margins. I have another 5 sitting there, stock and loaded, right? Which I'm probably not going to spend. I'm not going to use. I'm going to build back my cash in this portfolio for the next couple of months, right? We'll build up the cash back in the portfolio, and the portfolio is growing, right? You see today, so far we got over $100 in the portfolio in growth. That is amazing. Over $100 in growth in the portfolio. We did 7 and 9 during the regular hour, 1.33%. And then so far we've done $36.41, 0.60% in the extended hour, after hours, late night hours, whatever you want to call it. And it's going up. Okay, it's going up, and that's what we need to see, the thing going up. So if we can double what we did today, that's good. I'm not complaining, because tomorrow could be another day that we down even more. But the market is in our favor, even though the market is down, but it's in our favor where most of the stuff we have is in the green. And for me, that's all matters. Okay? So let's look at our snowball, right? And you can see it right now, we got $196,000 invested, and the growth in the portfolio right now is $267,000. So we got a good chunk of change, over $70 in growth in the portfolio. That is amazing. I cannot complain. And guys, I know I've been talking about this over and over. I had a conversation today with the guys from Fidelity about moving margins for my portfolio. And because when I log into my account this morning, I see I have 590 shares of WPay that is now have the little margin sign on it. I was like, what? I didn't switch this stuff. So, of course, I called. I was like, yo, what's going on with my stuff? He's like, yes, today was actually the day that my portfolio now, those WPay funds are now eligible for me to use margins. I was like, okay, it makes sense. So I asked him again, I said, so if I need to if I need to remove margins from my portfolio, what do I need to do? He's like, well, let me take a look at it real quick. Boom. He's like, if you need to get rid of margins, I can do it for you right now. I said, but I still have like 1.20% use of margins right now. He said, yeah, you have to sell some stuff. I said, no, I don't want to sell anything, right? I don't want to sell anything to get rid of margins. I just want you guys, if it's time to remove margins, just to remove margins. I don't want to sell anything. And I have a non-marginable buying power in my portfolio of over $50,000, right? Over 50 grand sitting there right now of non-margin buying power. Okay, so why would I got over, like almost $53,000 right now sitting there with non-margin buying power. I have a margin buying power almost $200,000. Now, if I didn't need the money right now in my portfolio, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to spend another $170,000, whatever, buying more WPay, right? So that would be getting my WPay stuff close to $300,000 in WPay, which I think would be bringing me probably about $4,000 a week. But that's a lot of risk, I'm a risky guy. But sometimes I'll be like, man, do I need to do that? Do I need to put that much money into WPay right about now? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But of course, that's margins. And the way I've been putting money out of my account, right? If I go to say, if I start pulling that 10 grand out of my account every month, at some point I'm going to get to where when I pull the cash out of my portfolio, I'll be putting margin cash, maybe like 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line. And that's just going to keep building up, building up, building up. And right now I don't want that, okay? Because I don't have no job, okay? I ain't got no job. And I'm almost ready to retire in a couple of days, right? No job. So if I can get out of that, why not do it? So of course, I was like, I'm gonna wait till the rest of the week. Let me see how much money gonna come into the portfolio, or if how much more the portfolio gonna grow. So if it does, I just call them back before Friday, before I travel. Be like, yo, uh, I think we can remove margins now. We can remove margins. I'm good, and we remove margins. So now every cash that's coming in my portfolio, right? And I need money to live, which I do need money to live. I can pull that fund out without affecting my margins, which is important, guys, which is important. Okay. We'll not have to worry about margins. Okay. That was a long story, but I had to share that with you guys what's going on. So right now you can see the portfolio, cash management portfolio, 10 grand, 10 stacks. Okay. It's only 15, but I use the other 5 grand to pay some bills. So next month, I don't have, well, this month, which is new month. I keep saying next month, this is the third. I don't have a lot of bills left. I got 2 more bills to pay, uh, and I can pay that when I come back from Africa or on the 16th. I got another set of check coming on the 16th, so I can do that when I get paid on the 15th. Sorry, on the 15th, I can take care of that. That way, I don't have to pull any cash from my portfolio this month. And then I still have another check coming, right? My supposed to be retirement check, my whatever package, my later package, which is not a lot, but that should be enough to cover, um, when I get paid again. Uh, I got vacation time plus my layoff package. So I got enough to cover me maybe for the next month and a half. So I don't have to touch my portfolio yet and let it grow because this one right here, of course, we double the income that's coming into this portfolio. As you can see, annually right now we have 5 grand. Um, that's half of what we got invested, which is amazing, guys. So if I can get this thing, if I can throw another, let's say another 15,000, 16,000 into this, we'll probably go down, no, not 15,000, another 5 grand next year, or another 10,000 next year. And that doubles our income, right? So we got 10,000, we got 5,000 coming in. So we can double the amount of money in the portfolio and double the income. That's $1,000 a month. That eliminates a lot of stuff because that covers car, that covers insurance. So this portfolio work, which is meant to be to pay my bills, right? That will cover a lot of stuff. So I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic because of that. As you guys can see, I'm ecstatic because of that. Now we just look at this portfolio here. Um, this thing got 20 grand in it right now. Okay, got 20,000 in there right now. 10 of which is margins. The other 6,000, whatever, 16,000, whatever is 6,000 is my money, right? And I don't have to touch this thing right now. So that's the reason I decided to do margins because I'm planning. I've been thinking about taking margins off the other account. So now we got to try to grow this portfolio. And with the help of margins, we can increase the income that's coming into the portfolio. And if we can stay above board and don't have to worry about those erosions problems, which will eliminate a lot of it out of the portfolio. But if we don't have to worry about that, then we're going to be in good shape. Okay? Right? So the big boy guy, this guy, we're going to be doing all the heavy lifting right now since your boy about to be laid off. We still got $129,000 coming into this portfolio, which is amazing, right? And a lot of this money that coming into the portfolio, the good thing about this stuff is cash on it's a return on cash, right? So these are distributions. These are not like dividend, right? They're distribution from cash on a return on cash, which is a good thing because that means I don't have to pay taxes on those because I'm getting distribution on my own money. It's not a dividend, right? So that's a big difference. So that's key, right? A lot of this income I've got coming in from like WPay, a lot of those return on cash. Okay, so those are key. Okay, guys. Um, let's see right here. Let me see if I can go over here real quick. Look at this guy. Look at this guy here. Okay. The yield is like, sometimes I go between the different trackers. The yield is different. Now I have everything I got in this portfolio is in the other portfolio, but the stuff still calculate things a little differently. So right now we're looking at $10,000 a month coming into the portfolio. I think I'll be happier, right? If we can increase the amount across the board. I'll be glad if we can get to 12,000. And it's going to be a slower process, except I pull more cash from my real estate, right, and throw it in here. I've been thinking about that, right? Let's say I'm making 15,000 a year from one property, right, and that's just a net, right, from one property. It can be different. That's not counting all the other stuff I got to pay. But if I invest that money, right, the same amount of money that I have into the property because the property is paid off. If I invest that $170,000, $200,000, $880,000, right, I can make maybe double that, maybe almost like 30 grand a year from just that one investment, right? And I don't have to pay taxes on those because depending on what I put it in, that's return on cash. So, I mean, it's still room to grow this stuff, right? If I can throw another 100 grand in my portfolio, let's say I sell a property, which I really don't want to do, or I refinance a property that's paid off, take all of that cash, throw it in here. It's less risk, right? We still got a tenant in there, but throw all that cash in here. So now instead of having, 100,000 or 200,000 plus, I have 300,000 plus, and that's probably gonna go into one fund, right? Which probably right now be WPay. The most consistent, it's more reliable. It's a return back to cash we put in there. And as far as when the market go up or down, it recovers rapidly, real quickly. So of course that would be the go-to, right? Would be to put that 100,000 plus or put 100,000 in there, and then divide the other amount of money, maybe 30 in my other portfolio, my car portfolio, another 30 in my housing portfolio, in my daughter's portfolio, right, for the tuition and stuff. So I can break it up that way, and that way those two portfolio will be set, right? I got 30 grand here, 30 grand there. That's enough to pay for a whole year of tuition. I will never have to add no more money to that, right? I can let the cash build up as a buffer, to reinvest them and let some sit there, just like I'm doing in my main portfolio right now. And then in my car portfolio, if I can add another 30,000 out of my car portfolio, that would be almost 50 grand, right? That should get us over that $1,500 a month in income. That should definitely get us over $1,500 a month in income. That should be enough to cover the car. That should be enough to cover the insurance, plus cover a few other bills, right? Guys, I'm thinking long term, but also thinking short term, if that's possible, right? Trying to bring in more income. I really don't want to sell my house. I want to sell it, but I really don't want to sell it because of my plan on growing my other business. I know it's cheaper to come back and rent a place, right? But my daughter was kind of baby girl, grow up, and she been here since she was a baby. Bring her mom and having to be in a different place, it's something to think about. Okay, so I'm not going to yap too much about that. We just talk about this right here. You can see the difference in the income, but look at this right here. Let the thing reset. Okay, it finally updated. All right, so look at this right here, and you can see the other thing was showing like what 10,000, 12,000. Let me go back. Like, why is it doing this thing? Let me go back to all of these guys, right? Net worth, we go here, right? And we're still looking at 12 grand, right? We're looking at 12,000. So if we go back to distributions, so this says estimated about the total income. That's all the three portfolio, 12 grand. And those other portfolio, I'm not going to be pulling now. So putting money out of those. And then in this portfolio, we're looking at 10,000 for the three portfolio. So, sometimes it's good to I look at the two trackers. So one can be like, okay, you great here. The other one will be like, no, you're not so great. You need to get it together, right? But I think next year will be a big thing for me because I have to live on this. I mean, the next couple of months gonna be not as bad. November, December, yes, we have money coming in that will be good, right? In January, I have some more cash coming in for about March, and then March, April, we'll do our taxes. So a lot of the loss that we had this year, over $100,000 in erosion, we can write off. So a lot of that money I will be getting back. So I'm good there, right? So I think I should be okay as far as that goes, right? As you can see, the income is going back up slightly, right? And this is going to increase because once we get more cash into the portfolio, right? You guys know me. Once we get more cash into the portfolio, I want to have 1 month of buffer sitting in the portfolio to pay my bills, right? So this month, I'm going to try my best not to buy anything. I'm telling you, it's hard. In my main portfolio, my other smaller portfolio, yeah, so the cash coming, boom, I'm buying. So the cash coming, I'm buying. But in my big portfolio, I'm not buying anything. I'm gonna let all the cash come in and let it sit there this month, and then next month, um, you know, and see how I'll try to use all the other money I have. How long I can go without having to touch it. So if I don't have to touch the cash in my big boy portfolio for 2 months, we should have an extra $20,000+ in there, right? 20 plus. I don't know. We could do 12,000 or 13 or 14,000. I have no idea. Just depending on how much things change, right? But that would give me an extra $20,000 sitting in there, and I only need half of that to pay the bill, maybe a little bit more, right? So I think we're gonna be good, guys. I think we're gonna be good. I'm a little nervous right now because anything can happen, things can change. But a month ago, this is what we were making before I made all the changes to my portfolio. This is how much you had coming in the portfolio, right? Between 400+ thousand to 600+ $1,000, 500+ $1,000, somewhere in that range. Now we're down to 100-some thousand, but I believe all things remain the same by next year. This time we should be over that $200,000 mark, if not back to 450+ $1,000 incoming into the portfolio. So I'm looking forward to it, guys, and I know you guys are looking forward to it too. And I wish you guys all the success in your investment journey as we continue to do what we do, guys. Simply to motivate you guys to invest, okay? Simply to motivate you guys to invest. Now, today I was looking up some stuff. I was like, you know what? I need to put my money in some like the total market, the stocks, ETFs, right? Or let me see if I can bring this over. Let me close this out first. I'll bring this over for you guys. So I was just looking around like, did I just close it? No. Yeah. Let me bring this over real quick. So if I tell you guys all the time when you start investing to invest in stuff like this. They don't pay a lot of dividend, but it give you time to learn. Some people learn by fire like me, right? I learned this by fire. But in the beginning, when I started investing, yes, I was investing in the VTI, right? The Vanguard Total Stock Market ETFs. This covered the entire stock market. So some people say, oh, man, you need to put your money in S&P 500. You need to put your money in S&P 500, VOO, okay? That covers pretty much the S&P 500. That's the Vanguard version. They got all these other companies like Charles Schwab, J.P. Morgan, Chase. Um, they all have their own version, right? If you want to say I want to invest in international funds, right, and you can go in VXUS, okay. And then I also got SSG. But look at the dividend, right? Let's go to SSD, US dividend ETFs. But look at the distributions, right? Look at the distributions. It's paying almost 4%, and this go up all the time, right? This is paying almost 4% yield, about $1.30 per month, and this paid quarterly. So you're gonna get paid for this 4 times a year. I mean, some of this stuff I buy because of growth. It helps with growth in the portfolio. SCSG, this paid quarterly also distribution, but this distribution is pretty low. So this is mostly for growth, right? Distributions is 0.12 cents and then 0.35% yield. And it's paid quarterly also. Okay. Dividends. And these all of these pay quarterly. Okay. All of these pay quarterly. Maybe confirm that with you guys. When I click on holdings. This is 1.12%. They're paying like $7.04 annually. So I mean, it's not bad. I mean, this stuff get a lot of growth in there. And VTI, come on. And they're pretty much about the same. They pay a little less. I mean, a little more. What is it? A little less, a little more. Okay, a little less. But this is I think this is a good start for anybody who wants to start. I mean, a couple of other stuff you can put your money in where you can sleep at night, where you're not worried about risk. Like, oh man, the market is bad today, I'm gonna lose all my money. I think this is a good start for newcomers. Okay, this is just me talking. This is not financial advice, but I think it's a good start. Okay, guys. So I know a lot of time I make the video, I just go what's going on in the market, talk about what's going on in my portfolio. But a lot of time, if I had to go through all the stuff in my portfolio and talk about what's in my portfolio, it would be on the video going to be too long. Because as you guys can see, all of these right here, all in my portfolio. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, and this is just one portfolio. And even though some of this stuff overlaps in my other portfolios, but still, this is what I got. It's just my investment style. I like to have a lot of different things. I can have 4 or 5 funds in my portfolio that should cover everything I invest in, but I'm not going to get that money that I make right now. Okay, but I could have 5 or 6 things and the other stuff. But what I like about my portfolio, sometimes when the market is bad, the other funds that I have that I might have $10,000 or $11,000 in. Sometimes back in the day, I would have to sell some of those to cover my margins, right? I can't wait to get out of margins this week. Hopefully my portfolio make enough money so I can get out of margins. And then, the rest of the time, you're collecting my money. Okay, guys, once again, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, like the content, and comment on the video. If you like the video, if something else you want me to talk about, like the video. Guys, remember to sign out to my other channel, Retire and Roam. It's my other channel, right? My other YouTube channel. I try to try my best on that channel to break stuff down a little bit more than just talking about what's going on with the daily market. But I pretty much talk about similar stuff. I don't make videos every day on that channel. I make videos maybe once or twice a week, right? But now that I'm gonna be out of work, I ain't gonna have no job. Of course, I will have more time to make videos. You're probably gonna see maybe multiple videos coming in on multiple channels every day because I ain't got nothing else to do. I might as well put my time to use and build these channels up. And not only that, but give you guys stuff to help motivate you, just like I've been doing from day one. Okay, guys. So have an amazing Monday. I hope you guys made money today because I made a few dollars, as you guys can see. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Okay. I'll talk to you guys then. Stay blessed. Peace.